With the Butt Kicker Gamer 2, what you see and what you hear is what you feel. Butt Kicker. The future is feeling.
Recording in progress.
Tonight, the Precision Racing League continues its stretch of trying to do one thing: avoid absolute danger. Tonight, the Monster Mile is the focus. iRacing's virtual Dover Motor Speedway on docket to start things off with the Truck Series here on RaceSpot. Good evening, everyone. I'm Justin Prince. Alongside me is Derek Watson, Joshua Lee, producing for tonight's coverage as we get ready to go racing at the Concrete Mile. Derek, tonight could be a tricky one.
It could be a tricky one. The word you use that I like here is danger. Of course, we had danger last week at Talladega where Nick Hunter won his first race, but danger could be on the docket tonight as well. Look at the schedule here. Next week is Kansas, then Darlington, then North Wilkesboro, and Charlotte. We are almost halfway through the schedule, JP, and the point battle is really heating up. Let's take a look at the points here real quick when they pop up here. Zach Panzarella has opened up a 21-point lead after finishing second last week over Austin Hunter. Patrick Cowgill down to third with Mike Toomer in fourth. Tanner Johnson in fifth, Mike Richter in sixth. Then Andrew Sharp, Nick Hunter, last week's winner, first-time winner. Stephen Kirby and Brett Adams round out the top 10, Justin.
It's been an interesting year there, but it's also been very tight team-wise this season because Whataback Racing Final Drive, first of all, they've taken a big step as of late. Second, Whataback Racing Hunters, they took huge strides to close up last week. But third, Team DDI 44 Ever, they've kept up towards the front most of the season, Derek. It is tight for the team fight amongst the top three now.
It really is. That's a great fight right there. And I suspect as the next couple races head on here with a different track surface in Dover and our mile and a half at Kansas, it'll start to become a little bit more clear towards the final third of the season.
I'd like to remind you before we get tonight's action underway, who presents said action? First things first, tonight's action is presented in part by Advanced Sim Racing. Owned and operated by passionate sim racers, Advanced Sim Racing. Designed to build the sturdiest, most durable aluminum profile racing simulation cockpits available on the market today. All PRL members also get a 5% discount code on ASR products. This is your Precision 5 coupon code. RaceBox offers mid and high-end button boxes for sim racing enthusiasts. From the casual gamer up to the most meticulous sim racing driver. Competitively priced and carefully handcrafted, our button boxes are an enjoyable addition to any sim racing setup. Visit RaceBoxSimRacing.com and get a 5% discount. Use the Precision 5 coupon code. Butt Kicker products add incredible immersion and realism to every game. Feel every nuance and truly put yourself in the driver's seat. Moradness is a performance lifestyle brand motivated by motorsport and founded by professional race car driver Daniel Morad. For information, visit moradness.com. Mr. Hedge iRacing Photography. Capture your finest, proudest, or simply worst moments from your hobby and up to 8K resolution. A great addition to any sim room. And by Advanced Motorsports. Get ready to learn to be fast. Fast with Advanced Motorsports. Follow them on their socials to become a better driver. Drivers currently finishing up qualifying right now, in fact, nearly halfway through the session. And right now, drivers are trying to get used to the concrete jungle. Taking a look at the 33, this is Kyle Dewey that's currently top of the board in qualifying by a 10th, in fact. This track is not easy to get a handle of this week. In fact, for reference, in the fixed SOF race that just happened about less than an hour ago, everybody had trouble keeping it gripped up in the corners.
Yeah, that'll be a topic all night long. Dewey just cooled down that lap there after putting down a 22.783, pardon me, is what he put down here. Now we'll go, let's see who else is still on the board trying to make it happen. Brandon Chatley just took over P5. Mike Richter, your new pole sitter. But let's take a look at Brandon Chatley here. He's going to come now down through the back straight, down into 3. Just going to try to get down as much as possible. Does a pretty good job right in the middle of the corner and gets it tracked back out and loses it. Oh, man. Does he hit anything? No, it's technically a live lap, Justin, but not a very good one.
Yeah, he's not going to be too happy with that one, but that seems to be the trend. We'll see how many drivers have those cha-cha slides as the night progresses along tonight. Of note, multiple drivers not allowed to qualify for tonight in a track position heavy race. Those drivers tonight include Zach Williams, Dylan Smith, Alex Wright, Phil Beaver, Jordan Miller, all designated to start the backfield due to prior incidents. Now keeping an eye on the 19, this is Nicholas Hunter, 23-1 on the first lap. Can he get himself a good starting spot from 19th? No, he gets to 16th at best.
Well, I'll tell you what, Nick, of course, had a very happy week last week after winning at Talladega, getting pushed by his brother up to the win here. So we'll see if he can continue the success and back-to-back wins here. But right now, the story, I think, for me is 2 kind of new names at the top of the board, JP.
Yeah, big change when it comes to qualifying pacers so far for this season. For much of the way before tonight, the pole sitters, they've been spread apart across the field, but usually they've been controlled by a Chevy. Whether it's been Garrett Austin or rather Will Jennings, whether it's been Patrick Cowgill, or whether it's been someone like, say, Stephen Kirby, or Brett Adams. Tonight, though, it's Mike Richter continuing what's been a stellar season for him. He starts on the pole alongside Kyle Dewey. Zach Panzarella starts in 3rd tonight in one of the DDI machines. And wow, Andrew Sharp, first things first, being sharp on the numbers. Second things second, being sharp in the position in 4th. Patrick Cowgill and Brendan Chatley, your top 6 for this one. The next row will feature the 823 truck. That's Mark Elliott. You were touching upon Derek. Keep an eye on his purple and white machine alongside Tanner Johnson. Kevin McGarvey, Austin Hunter, your top 10. Brett Adams and Rodrigo Morales, your first half of the field. Robbie Wilson will start off in the 6th truck at 13th. The privateer alongside Garrett Austin. Jake Mackey alongside Nicholas Hunter. Edward Peltz and Will Jennings in the top 18. The rest of the drivers set times. Graham Wildman, Tom Amassi, Marty Calvert. Drivers who did not set times tonight: Toomer Jr., Kirby, Schmidt, Beaver, Ryan Newman, Zach Austin, Zach Williams. Your track is fairly hot for today on this April 27th in Sim. Afternoon start. Your keys to win, Derek. It's a one-pace lap scenario here. The drivers will have to get ready for the restart fast.
Yeah, and what they're going to need to be ready for is throttle control all night long. You saw in that qualifying lap that got a little wild there. If you get too happy on the throttle out of 2 or 4, this back into this truck will slip, slide, and every which way around you and become a very difficult truck to handle. So I think throttle control is the story of this race.
Who's your pick to win it?
Oh, that's a good question. You know, I like picking a little bit different picks. Someone tonight making their first Dover start was really kind of having a hard time as Andrew Sharp, but put himself in 4th in qualifying. I think Sharp will do well tonight.
A chance for some different drivers to run up front. But it's Mike Richter, who had some great pace a few weeks ago, remember, who's back up in front. Mike Richter, he's already finished 2 times in the top 5. Can tonight be the time he breaks through for the dub? Let's find out.
Yeah, Very possible. Let's wait and see. Green flag, just about ready.
Building control of Barney the Flagman. It's Mike Richter who takes the green. We're underway for the Monster Mile. Mike Richter leads the first time around here from Dover. Already a solid launch as well from Panzarello & Co. But charges are already on. Get to the bottom seems to be the mindset.
Yeah, getting to the bottom is important here. It's the quickest way around the track. Probably a little bit more grip to be had at the bottom of the track versus the top. So that's the desired line here. But I will say there is something to be said. Certain drivers this week have practiced the idea of making a pass on the outside.
Yeah, but it can be tricky with the amount of slippy slide we may see here today. If we do have a green flag race, these drivers expect to go about 100 laps here tonight. Now, keep in mind that is pre-first caution or anything. The tires definitely won't make it 60 laps, let alone 100.
Yeah, 100 is a big goal for this race here. On board with Zach Panzarello, having an amazing season here, and really spent a lot of time being frustrated Monday night with the official races. Yesterday sort of got it all together. Has had multiple podiums in the officials this week.
Yeah, seen him do pretty solid when it comes to the official races, but now he looks to show his preparation skills. Not able to get around Richter quite yet, but he is still trying to set up the diamond line, try and find a run, just can't get it yet.
Now, he'll find it, though. That diamond line is important here at Dover. Really can help you get things lined up and moving correctly. But look at him here all over the back end of Richter here, just trying to see if he can make his presence felt. He wants to dip to the inside and got it.
Caution flag is out right before then, though. And it's towards the back. Then it goes Marty Calvert and more. We're under caution for the first time already on lap 5, coming to 6. Graham Wildman involved, and several more get collected.
We'll wait for the RaceSpot replay machine to load up, JP. But the obvious guess here, if you want safe better, is to bet that a little bit of spinning of a truck, probably out of a corner, a little bit of a loose truck, probably is going to be in some way responsible for this first yellow of the night, I would think.
So the field getting sorted, Calvert already out of the race. Let's take a look. Take one more swing. Talk us through this for a moment, Derek.
Oh, well, let's go back a little bit further in the replay here and let's take a look and see what's going to happen here. Watch the middle of your screen. It's that black and silver 109 to the bottom of the track here. Watch him here. It's just going to... Oh, it's in front of him. Oh, it's not him at all. I apologize. It's the 16, and I missed the number of the other one. They got together, and that's how quick it happens here at Dover. There was nowhere for him to go. That was just a sudden wreck.
It's been under caution here for the first time tonight because...
Oh, not clear.
Right there. Yeah.
Not clear at all is what happened there. Just came up and probably thought he was clear. Probably thought he could clear that truck, and turns out he could not. Well, here we are, JP. First caution about 4 minutes in. This was one of the concerns drivers had. In a way, for some drivers, though, this is a relief. The biggest fear I heard all night when talking to drivers before the race was, if we stay green, ... If we stay green, ... There was a lot of concerns about tires, a lot of concerns about pit stops, a lot of concerns about how the track would change if this stays green all night long.
So keep in mind as well, one thing to think about throughout the night is going to be tire sets. One more tire set available compared to the fixed races of 40 laps. Drivers have 3 tire sets available in the pits tonight. That leads to the obvious question here. If the trend goes short run, do you think about it knowing the tire spin situation? How would you play the tire sets?
I mean, yeah, obviously you're going to have to take tires at some point here, unless we really just have like a massive amount of yellow flags here. Everyone's going to have to put tires on, and what'll happen is we may get a couple yellows and then one even a decent run of 10, 15, 20 laps. And that's where you'll need to take tires. If the tire spin here and the tire handling is so critical here, I don't see any way you pull a 0 tire stop at Dover.
Of note, nobody made a scheduled stop for tires. Repairs for everybody in the field. Just one top off for Dylan Smith on fuel. Everybody else kept their track position on the surface. One DNF for the caution flag, Marty Calvert, but it's Mike Richter and Zach Panzarello who are up front. Patrick Cowgill looking to bounce back after a rough past couple weeks. Starts off third alongside Dewey. Mark Elliott, one of the newcomers as of late. In fact, Derek in the top 5.
Yeah, Mark's only his second oval race in. Debuted last week at Talladega to not much success, but hoping to do better here. By the way, JP, small story thread for later. This track is the location of Patrick Cowgill's first ever PRL win.
Can he find a way to get another win here? It's a question for later. But already about 6 minutes down, green flag is out. And a very poor launch high side. That's been the trend this week. Tire spin, top line is not great tire spin.
And I thought I saw a bit of tire spin out of Andrew Sharp in the back, in the middle of that field a little bit as well, because he kind of got a slow start there on the bottom, but seems to have it moving okay now. But Richter's got a big jump here, and Cowgill quickly to second.
And quickly, the test is on to see if Cowgill can get himself into a rhythm here if it keeps going clean. Is Chevy. Right now the highest of those in the manufacturer group. The highest Toyota is Dewey. Richter, of course, in a Ford, top of the board so far. Now, that being considered here for these drivers and team-wise and team Spectre side of things, you got to get a lot of the prep down here. It takes a decent amount of prep to get the Monster Mile just right, just because of how sensitive the line usage is.
How sensitive the line is. It's a different track surface than what we race on. Everything about this place is different from most other tracks we race on. Even the fact there's nowhere to avoid a wreck here. If you're down the front or the back straight and a wreck happens, you just saw it in the last wreck, there's nowhere to go to avoid it. There's so much you have to practice here to be successful. This is not a hop in and go kind of track, but man, Patrick Cowgill wants to hop into first place here, JP. He is all over Mike Richter.
There's a term to that, there's nowhere to go. Self-cleaning racetrack. Mike Richter takes himself up the banking. 24 degrees in the corners, 9 down the straights. Right now, Richter using all 24 high side. Patrick Cowgill getting a lot of space to work with inside. Richter lets him have it. Cowgill to the lead.
Yeah, not in Richter's best interest to fight that too long. Be up in that high lane where there's less grip and more marbles. Just get down there, let Cowgill go, and see if you can work it back later here in that Whataback machine.
Cowgill already setting the tempo by up to 2/10. He's the quickest truck on the racetrack by a couple hundreds now with clean air. Of note, so far, amongst those who was in the vicinity of the last incident, Phil Beaver's already up 9 spots in the 60. Everybody else up about 3 to 4 spots at most so far. But keep an eye on that second group. Look at the shuffling back there with the backdrop. A lot of drivers like Sharp, like Dewey and Moore getting a little bit squirrely.
Yeah, you know, when I talked to Sharp pre-race and we had a little bit of banter, and I finally said, hey, so listen, how's the track? I got a simple 2-word answer, JP. It's tough.
I mean, it's Dover. If you think this is easy, well, Miles the Monster is right around the corner, and he'd like to remind you why people think it's tough.
Yeah, Miles the Monster, one of the most iconic mascots of a track, if you will. Figureheads or icons, whatever you have. That big monster that sits atop of the different posters and icons and banners here. Oh, look at Andrew, got a little loose out of the corner, got it saved pretty quickly, so that truck moved back and forth.
Yeah, the insecurity coming in. And the funny thing is, a lot of people also talked about this is a truck that's also hard on the right front tire this week in the fixed setup. It's almost an integral balance. You have a tight truck that also is squirrely loose. It's hard to get a grip of it when it's loose and tight at the same time and can blow on your right front tire.
Yeah, it's hard. It's frustrating as a driver because you think you got it worked out, and then that new problem pops up, right? You're like, whoa, where'd that looseness come from? And it makes you want to back off. And then what happens? You back off, and then someone's a little faster than you, and it really just irritates the heck out of you because you're like, how did they do that? And you start pushing again, and it's a non-stop battle here when you are in that spot. But Andrew's doing a great job here, staying with the 320 or the 823, pardon me, and doing a good job of holding it all together. Now, if there's anything that I think Andrew's doing really well, look how well he tracks out of the corners, gaining that extra speed out of all the corners.
Not too aggressive, not too high up like Mark Elliott right there, who just clapped it. And that in turn is part of a major balancing act, as you said here.
You know, and the thing I always try to remind people, JP, is, you know, you see these trucks moving back and forth out of the corner. Watch Andrew Sharp again here, see if he gets loose again. And I always kind of joke, if you and I can see it through the cameras of the broadcast, he definitely feels, oh, there's a wall slap there. That's the second time in a row Andrew Sharp narrowly avoided a wall slap by another driver.
Significant damage starting to build up on Elliott's truck. You can't do that too many times without destroying the machine. That's allowed Sharp to be able to start to run a little bit. He's currently running in the 5th position. Trying to get back to that starting spot. Trouble all over around. Let's take a look at the heart of the field where things look to settle down a bit. Some drivers are very close to not settling in here around 20th. This includes some of your drivers who started towards the tail like Toomer Jr. and more.
There's Toomer, we saw Massey. There's Ryan Newman back there. Got a special paint scheme we'll highlight in a little bit here.
Hold on. We've had pit stops all of a sudden.
Whoa.
Mark Elliott. Oh, and one indeed in the pit lane. That's Robbie Wilson, who elected to duck out of his pack and pit instead. He was running top 10 before this lap, but he's joined Elliott in the lane.
I'm massively, honestly confused, JP. Mark Elliott might be doing it due to like some kind of requirements of repairs. Is that the case? Let's see real quick. No, they're both voluntarily down pit road. I don't understand the strategy.
Yeah.
I mean, unless they're banking on this staying green, because right now what's going to happen is with the pace of a green flag lap and the slow speed of pit road, they're going to be, what, 2 or 3 laps down after this pit stop.
Up front, this is for second. Panzarella trying to get the run. Not yet. He's trying the diamond. Mike Richter has so far lost the second and a half to Calgill, but has played solid defense on Panzarella.
Yeah, I'm just kind of watching here. Those cars are off of pit road. I think they're going to lose 2 laps. So if this were to caution before the cycle happens, they're going to be massively behind the 8 ball here. And the fact that Stephen Kirby's the car a lap down, so neither one of them are in a lucky dog position. I try to think I'm usually pretty talkative and full of words, as you know, but not about that. Here's another one. That's Ryan Newman. Now he's slow.
You're not sure about him. He does have mandatory repairs. Left fender damage, no caution. Second spot, Panzarella. Now he's got the inside, and Richter yet again doesn't want to fight it. Panzarella to second. And caution. And we're under yellow. It's front straightaway. Will Jennings and Stephen Kirby hard crashes.
There is the wrecked car. So I guess with Kirby being the wrecked car, this means that I think Robbie Wilson might benefit from the lucky dog. I stand corrected by a fluke, but wow, what a few moments here as Patrick Calgill now catches the pace car to really begin this yellow flag process.
Let's take a look. This round to Smith, way too high.
Way too high, way too aggressive for the 420 to slap that wall to Will Jennings. Part of big, fast racing. Jake Maki, your team owner. Man, look at the carnage that came flying in here. That's the downside of Dover. There's not much reaction time here, and Will Jennings was done for the day.
Yeah, one more look. There was Smith on the poke. Kirby's the bystander.
Yep, Kirby just, did nothing wrong per se. This car's going to come in. Can't tell, actually. They came in there, so lots of damage to be had here. Well, we're under yellow for the second time, JP. Now that pit stop begins. We had a few green flag laps in, and I would love to know some tire percentages here, because I would think that, you know, I don't know. I mean, Elliott and Wilson must have been concerned about their tire wear. That seems way too early, though. I'm still confused.
Regardless, though, race off the pit road. Calgill gets it over Panzarello and Richter. Now, there is a lot of possible thought process, though, with the tires. There was a mindset for the fixed races this week. If you were to ever turn more than 5 laps, you should always pit, because tire spin will eat you alive.
Oh, for sure. 100%. I am 100% on board with that. But I think the part in there you're not saying is you pit under yellow after 5 laps.
Yeah.
Not under green. No,
yeah.
It's a very valid point, right? I get it. Like, I'm 100% team tires. Just the green flag here. Well, the other thing to talk about as well, JP, and something that got brought up to me by Zach Panzarella, is would anyone be brave enough to do a first gear restart here at Dover with the way the tires behave? You know, there's always that argument amongst the community about, do you start in first or second gear? First gear gives you a better launch, but sometimes can make that truck wiggle.
It could also really depend. Are you the control truck? Might be more susceptible to the first gear start. Mm-hmm. If you're in the heart of the field, what's the point of going in first gear when you're immediately going to have to lift off the gas?
Yeah, right. As that ad says, you know, go fast. Well, there's no point there, because the only thing you're going to do is end up in the back end of somebody else if you do that here. So you see a beautiful camera shot here of the trucks going by and different paint schemes going around there. Well, we're about we're halfway through this race almost, JP. Lots of action. Calgill, but we'll talk about him, by the way. You may notice in the points he has a new team name a little bit. Patrick left SRT Esports a few weeks ago and now has Final Drive back into his team name, because this will be the last year Patrick will be a full-time driver in the PRL Truck Series. Starting in 2025 Season 1, he will be a Grand National driver.
And that's a solid step up for Calgill after his strong successes as of late. It's good to see him take the promotion now. But Ryan Newman, that's the reason he had the meatball flag. That was a massive hit to the inside wall and a broken axle.
Yeah, big shout out to Ryan Newman, by the way. That University of Michigan truck did that as a way to troll me. He knows I'm an Ohio person and love my Buckeyes, so got that out there. And unfortunately, his truck has entered the transfer portal, so he will not do well tonight.
That ended up lasting a good couple moments in that regard. So, let's see how this restart goes this time. Calgill, having a very solid season, looks to try and regain momentum for the point standings after a couple rough weeks. He's yet to get himself into victory lane since the slip up in race number 3. In fact, very quietly amongst those top 5 in points, Mike Toomer Jr. having a rough race. He's still 15th. About halfway through.
This feels like the race that could shake up the points here. But of course, still half a race left, so who knows?
Freshies all around. Green flag is out. Back and away. Good launch. Calgill clear. Patrick Calgill with a good launch to be able to rip his way through 1 and 2 in a very sizable gap, but it's 2x2 heart of the field.
Yeah, look at this big mess back here. This is what you want to get sorted out when these tires are fresh. You need to make a move fast and get a pass made here, because now that you know how much the tires wear off under race conditions, you feel that need to get up there and make it happen instantly. See Andrew Sharp, trying to make a pass on the outside here and see if he can get it done.
Sharp still stuck on that high side as a result, but indeed that 27 Austin Hunter, he's been amongst those who picked up some solid momentum as of late. Both the Hunters have become very solid Hunters after being the hunted for a bit this year.
In fact, Austin Hunter has even become a hunter of the points title, silently, very quickly up to, I think, P3 in the points currently, or P2 in the points even, so having a great job. There's Austin. Had a great week last week, got to push his brother to a win, and now is up here. Needs a little help racing P7, but all things considered, that could be a good run when all is said and done here. Look at what I noticed, JP, by the way, about what's happening in this race. Most everybody, minus Andrew Sharp in that camera shot, is riding in the sort of the middle of the track and not the bottom.
Yeah, that is an interesting one for some, because usually one of the best ways to get around this track is stay as low as you can, but also get the double diamond. A lot of people are skipping the bottom part while trying to do the double diamond tonight.
Makes me wonder if they think by putting less input into the corner, if they can maybe save a little bit of tire by not turning quite as hard. It's the only process I could really fathom here. Look at Panzarella's going to try to make a pass here on Mike Richter. Panzarella now down to the bottom, side by side through the corner. See if everybody holds onto the truck. Yep, everybody's good there. The tires are holding, and now Panzarella will likely clear Richter, I would think, out of this corner. Let's wait and find out.
19 minutes to go on that clock now. Panzarella with that preferred groove. And all of a sudden, Richter's gone from being very easy to pass to a little more tricky. That time, it is clear for the 12. So, still 19 minutes up on that clock. And to put it safely here, it's going to be tough on tires still. Cowgill, clean sailing, looks to run.
Yeah, Patrick's looking to have a momentum swing here as far as his season's concerned. 2 races in a row where he did not score well in points, and the drop will not help him as much as it would in other scenarios. So he's got to wait and really build some momentum here. Dover and Kansas, these are maybe not must wins, but must do wells, if there is such a phrase.
Yeah, we'll have to take a look as this race progresses. Speaking of drivers, though, there's Andrew Sharp. He's right now in front of Boston. Now Sharp's been slipping and sliding a little bit back and back every restart as of late. What can he do to try and recover some of things as we take a look at Sharp?
Yeah, I think Andrew probably is happy with how he said he felt about the track pre-race. To know he's solidly running P8, you see him on screen here, and doing pretty well. Probably happy to be where he is. Obviously, he always wants to get around Austin Hunter and gain a spot or two, but compared to how his practice went, he's probably seeing this as a moral victory.
Yeah, I think Sharp, even though his face does not look happy in the very slightest, is still happy to be, well, here. So, talking about how things are playing out across this field, you see how Dewey is continuing to look solid. Still holding top 10 for now after starting outside front row.
Yeah, Kyle Dewey's been a driver, really a tale of two stories. He's had some flashes of greatness in this season, and unfortunately it has some moments that don't go as well. Some wrecks at Dega and other things that sort of kill the finish. So maybe a driver who's definitely, his performance is not indicative of where the final numbers are, but Kyle Dewey's having a really great run here at certain moments and doing so well, pretty well here up in P6 there. Got Austin Hunter and Andrew Sharp right behind him. Well, JP, we're about 16 and a half minutes away from Barney waving the checkered flag, and things have calmed down a little bit. So now the question in every driver's mind is when or if the next yellow happens, and how soon can they put tires in that truck?
Well, that's the tough balance right now, right? What is that?
Oh, you was right. You were out last week. This is Nick Hunter's virtual webcam. That is, I guess you could call it the augmented reality version of Nicholas Hunter. It celebrated last week, and all the lights turned checkered flag style when he won. So this is our AR version of Nick Hunter.
Well, hold on 1 second. They're nearly crashing behind them. The 6 hard in the wall. We stay green. But why?
Well, that's a valid question. I had the same question last week, and I didn't really get an answer. I know Nick wears a VR headset while driving, so maybe he doesn't want to have that that VR face on a webcam, but I guess a little too much time in his hand, a little bit of boredom, and he made it. And that AR driver, by the way, look, it moves its hands as Nick drives. So, I guess why not in his mind.
The one thing that bugs me though with that hand is it almost looks like the hand is stretching like it's a go-go gadget hand stretcher.
Well, it sort of bothers me. It's like one finger on the top of the wheel. Watch him turn here again. It's like one finger holding on to the top. You see that? And now it goes all the way around.
That almost looks like a connection issue with that for that portion of software, not the sim. But people like to do different things.
There you go.
And here's what we were seeing in the backdrop in the lower corner. Watch the 6.
Ooh, little wall tap, a little bit of bump. I think Dylan Schmidt in the background, I think it was. It kind of got a little bump draft at Dover. Not something you see every day. And everyone got it collected, though, and got it worked out here. So now your top 5 are Calgill, Panzarella, Richter, Kevin McGarvey, by the way, up here silently in P4, and then Brandon Chatley up in P5.
Down to the final 14 minutes coming up here on the clock. For those tuning in, this race zipping quickly on by all of a sudden. Longest green flag run continuing here with Calgill up by 1.3 seconds over Panzarella, Richter, McGarvey, and Chatley. Your top 5 so far in this one.
The good news now for Panzarella is, as your points leader, he's doing the smart thing. He's points racing. Yes, Calgill, at this point is your winner and will get more points, but not enough to close the gap that's there. Not enough to really take that points title away. So Panzarella doing a great job at points racing here. And towards the middle third. Oh, my goodness, Andrew Sharp, that's a wall. It still works.
Yeah, eventually that's going to hurt aerodynamically, possibly, when it comes to how that's looking right now with that race truck. It's going to get tricky, though, with the near contact up the racetrack. That's Dewey. That was with lap traffic. Zachary Williams nearly hitting a leader, I should say.
Yeah, now what's happening here, you see in the camera shots, a little bit more smoke starting to kick up. These tires are wearing off. Drivers having a hard time. More drivers are slapping the wall. That'll lead to some nervous moments and maybe eventually, something worse. I hope that doesn't happen, but that's typically where that leads to. The whole where there's smoke, there's fire thing may come into play here from someone here soon.
Under 13 minutes to go on this clock. Talking about how some things are shaking. I mentioned Phil Beaver was your biggest mover a while ago. He still is. The 60 is still a very eager Beaver. It's worth noting through this field. Already up half the field after starting towards the tail. And now, near trouble, Garrett Austin having problems in front.
Wow, great job by Philip Beaver to check that truck up there and not run over the back into Garrett Austin. He'll make the pass here on the bottom and then slide back up. Nope, he won't slide back up. He did not get it as clear as he wanted. He'll need to try it again here in 3 and 4. Oh, contact, I think.
Beaver's not looking too pleased in terms of the truck body language, at least. A lot of squishing and a lot of squeezing from Garrett Austin up top side of the midst of this, but a reset in fourth for the 60 truck.
Whoa, Philip Beaver got the truck really loose there out of the corner. You saw him have to back out a little bit, and the truck kind of wiggled back and forth in the back of the truck. That's a sign that he was not happy with that corner exit here. Going to try it again. Man, look at it. So in that case, when you see the truck moving that quickly out of the corner, JP, the first thought is, oh, he's changing lanes to pass. No, that's the truck snapping with that loose condition they're all fighting.
Andrew Sharp having some problems as well, starting to pop up. He's dropping back with significant damage from the right side hits. And now he's got another. More slams for Sharp. The damage is building up and fast. Tanner D. Johnson getting stuck behind.
Yeah, Tanner, one of our drivers here without a team currently in the PRL according to the point standings, doing a pretty good job here of representing now up to P9 after making the pass on Sharp, who has fallen back here. Tanner's going to get clear here and get moving. He wants to try to get up there and catch Brett Adams.
That's going to take a lot of time right now. Adams does have damage, though. So it's at least the bright side for the 59 machine. 53, should say, to close. Final 10 minutes up on the board. The lead's up to near 2 seconds. Mike Richter under pressure from Chatley.
Yeah, Richter's had a pretty great night overall. I mean, still up, sitting in P3. Under a battle here, may fall back to P4, depending on how this goes. But Richter put himself up on the pole and has really performed well all night long here. So something to be proud of here at the 10-minute mark. And things have kind of calmed down a little bit, JP. The trucks now spread out. So maybe a little less likely we'll see yellow, but anything can happen in the next 10 minutes.
Yeah, they've had a solid run, these drivers now, that have been able to take a little bit of a breather, be able to separate us in some cases, be able to settle on down before things intensify. By the way, speaking of intensify, traffic about to become a fact for the leader. Patrick Calgio has reached lap traffic for the first time today, it's worth noting. So things are about to get a little bit hairy for your leader. He's got 5 trucks in front of him in short fire.
What'll happen here is these, even this will natively probably slow him down a little bit. There's Nick Hunter, by the way, involved in one of the wrecks, and these could help Panzarella and Richter catch Calgill, depending upon how easily or not easily the lap traffic wants to let Calgill go here. We'll wait and see what happens. Next up, I believe, is Zachary Austin in the Flamingo truck there. That Flamingo truck gets way high and lets him by.
Oh, that's near trouble. Graham Wildman nearly runs over Zachary Austin. We stay green as Wildman zips on by. And this could become a problem spot for your next group of leaders.
Yeah, this is a problem.
Zach Panzarella wants the bottom, and it looks like the traffic is going to go low instead.
Well, the problem is the traffic couldn't make up its mind. You had the Flamingo truck going low, you had Wildman going high, and in these moments, it's hard for, Panzarella and the others to do something because you're always trying to guess what's going to be open here. As Panzarella, you're just sort of hoping the lap traffic sort of works it out and picks a lane. You don't care what lane it is, but pick one and stick there.
Panzarella able to get back around, but this is helping Chatley try some setups. Never mind, Chatley couldn't get up top because he had to get around the lap trucks. For a couple minutes away from the point of no return as well, just to add that extra little bit of flavor amidst this traffic layer. Not expecting anybody to pit from here.
No, even if the yellow comes out, I mean, that'd be the only way you think about it, maybe. But you see now, look at that time gap. Panzarella, Chatley, and Richter, as this is opened up now due to lap traffic here. And it is really a battle for second place here. Lots of people up and down the board here. Austin Hunter's up to 6th. Look at that, Brett Adams in the top 10. I mean, lots of stuff is happening here quickly in this race.
That's extremely quickly, if anything, with 7 minutes left.
By the way, JP, if we can real quick, I know there's a battle here for P2. I want to slip back real quick and make a call out to Jake Maki, owner of Big Fast Racing. He said we're not allowed to make fun of him for how messy his room is. I don't see anything messy about it, do you?
Yeah, it looks pretty in order.
Yeah.
Is it supposed to be messy?
I don't know. I mean, I don't think it's messy, but he kept saying that to me all week. He's like, you can't make fun of me for how messy it is, unless it's all like stuff behind the camera view, or I don't know what would have happened to the mess he saw, but there's posters on the wall. There's a nice 24-hour of France banner there.
Already a lot of chatter amongst the field. Here's Brett Adams, as you said. Kyle Dewey's falling behind him. Dewey struggling to end off the run. But Brett Adams continuing a solid season. With 6 minutes left to the clock, he's looking for an air top 10 already.
Yeah, doing a great job back here. Trying to be patient. Showing a lot of control here, and just wants to now pass. I thought he was going to pass high on the Flamingo car, but now it's dipped it to low. And oh man, truck in the wall there. You saw that smoke kick up.
That was Austin yet again. Hard into the outside wall for a moment. But lap truck does not collect the leader this time. 5.5 minutes to go in the race.
Well, JP, I'll go ahead and fit this in here while we got a moment. The question of the week has sort of become the trend that the drivers have enjoyed here across PRL trucks and Grand Nationals. So we asked this week, how do you race? What do you do? Is it single monitors, triple monitors, VR? What do you do? And it was such a real assortment of answers here. Let me run you through some of them real quick here as we're watching some of the battles on the screen. So your leader, Patrick Cowgill, is a triple monitor person. Zach Panzarella is single monitors. And Brandon Chatley did not answer. So there's really a list here. So single monitors, Jake Mackey, Philip Beaver, Edward Peltz, Zach Panzarella, Mike Toomer, Zach Williams. Look at there's Patrick Cowgill's rigs. So these guys got in the habit of sitting out rigs, by the way. We looked at rig photos all day long. There's Patrick Cowgill right there. So that's your leader. Nice triple monitor setup. We go to Zach Panzarella in second. You'll see a different one. That is a single monitor setup. There you go. There's Zach. Look at all that racing memorabilia in the background, JP.
Yeah. Oh, wait, I almost forgot that this was a photo and not Zach in his actual seat right this minute, but that's a lot of race cars.
That is a lot of race cars, isn't it? Yeah, this is the photo Zach sent earlier. Thank you to Zach for doing that. So then Patrick Cowgill, Ryan Newman, Andrew Sharp, Stephen Kirby, and Calvert are all triples. And your team VR is Garrett Austin, Mark Elliott, Mike Richter, Nick Hunter, and Graham Wildman. So a nice plethora of different styles of racing, JP. I know I'm team triples, and I think you are as well, right?
Well, had triples at one point, now to one single curve for the time being until, well, money lands from the sky.
There you go.
At one point, a Brinks truck is just going to land in my parking lot and be like, here, have all the money.
There you go.
Go ahead.
That's what has landed right in Patrick Cowgill's lap is an amazing race here. As you said, it was the site of his first PRL win over a year ago. And he has now gapped the field by over 2 seconds here. And I see no lap traffic ahead. Patrick Cowgill's hoping for just a calm 3 minutes here.
Yeah, that time is ticking away. Again, if there's a caution, as long as it doesn't involve him, expect it to be him to take the checker. On cue, Garrett Austin turned back straight away. Caution flag is out. This is the race.
This is the race right here. Garrett Austin has it turned around. Oh, don't do that. I hate, it's one of my biggest fears is drivers spinning around on track like that. Look at that, Patrick, with the sign in the background commemorating his PRL win.
I don't think he's celebrating yet. He wants to make sure probably it's going to be done. Now he can smile, knowing how much is on the clock.
Probably just flipped his black box over and saw the timer, 2 minutes and 25 seconds, and just had a big grin on his face there. Congrats to Patrick Cowgill and on this race win. Went out for the final 2 minutes, JP. If you want, we could look at some more rigs. I think Josh Willie has some more lined up for us. There's some pretty impressive rigs across the PRL. And we'll see if we can get some more lined up here in a second. Patrick now, we're going to look at that, the big deep breath, the smile. Knows he's got yet another victory
and
to celebrate here.
Yeah, he had the long run pace indeed, but this is why we're under caution. Oh. Now, there was a lap traffic in front, remember. Zachary Austin, who had not been having a fun time, was just in front of them.
Yeah, so we will have a lucky dog come around. It will affect the scoring a little bit, possibly. Of course, we're not going racing again, but you still do get that lucky dog progress. You can, in the final scoring, look a little better than what you did. That probably should have been, was that Garrett? No, that was Rodrigo Morales who just went around.
Yeah, Morales, with Garrett Austin having troubles back there, that puts Morales into lucky dog spot 17th by the end of things. But a minute to go on the clock. As we were saying, Cowgill, as soon as he took the lead, never looked back. 67 laps led. It's been that type of pace when he's had chances.
Yeah, that type of pace right there. So he'll get credit for the win. He'll get credit for leading a lap and for the most laps led. So a pretty successful night here for Patrick Cowgill, trying to crawl his way back to the points title here.
Just waiting to see when Barney waves the white. Already the congratulations are underway in sim as expected. The signal is there. 26 seconds of the clock. That should just about be it, if not be the second to last pace lap.
Yep, you see the yellow flag still waving back there.
Still a shout out though to give to the 77 Kevin McGarvey, holding on to the top 5. Also, a solid run in the end for Phil Beaver from the back of the field. He started near dead last, made it to 12 at the time of the yellow.
Yeah, great job there for Kevin McGarvey. Really a nice, silent, quiet run for him, and it did a great job here. So white flag is out, final lap. We'll wait and see if Barney gives them the checkered flag this time, or he wants them to see him go around one more time. At this point, it's just a formality, JP. The race has been decided. The order is done. We're just kind of racing to the advertised distance of the race at this point.
Patrick Cowgill just a few moments away from a return to victory lane after he started off red hot to start the season. Went ice cold the past 2 weeks. Now it's time to go red hot again. Why don't he? 3 of the 5 races so far have gone to one truck number 31. It's Patrick Cowgill who takes the checkered and gets it done here at Dover.
There you go. There's that classic smile we're used to. Congrats to Patrick Cowgill back in victory lane.
An outright dominant run as soon as he got to the front. He never looked back in this one. And this is a helpful one for the standings, but it's still going to be an interesting one the rest of the way for that fight. Technically, this only chips the gap down to Panzarella by about 2 or 3.
Yeah, we'll wait and see. Of course, the drop week has to play in effect, and bonus points come into effect, so we'll wait and see here of what's going to happen. So everybody's now going to come around the pace car, check flags out. Let's go celebrate. Let's go burn him down. Let's go have a good time.
Let's go have a celebration, why don't we? And it's the 31 truck, Patrick Cowgill, who gets it done tonight in the trucks. Chatley and Richter close out the top 3 as the celebration's on from Dover. And no surprise, the rest of Winnebago Racing joins in and tries to celebrate with them. Let's take a look at your unofficial race results. At the end, it's 82 laps led. 82 laps completed, should say. Chatley, Richter completed Winnebago Racing 1, 2 to 3. Panzarella and McGarvey the top 5. It's a 1, 2, 3, 5, 6 for Winnebago if you include McGarvey and Hunter. Adams, Dewey, Johnson, and Sharp, your top 10 tonight. 11th spot on the next page. That was an interesting time for Nicholas Hunter. He just missed out on first page duties tonight. They went to Beaver behind him. Smith, Toomer Jr., Maki, Amasi, Relish. 17 drivers on the lead lap. Laps down include Austin, Peltz, and Wildman. And the monsters several who had rough races. Zach Austin, Robbie Wilson, Mark Elliott 2 down. Zach Williams 4 laps down. Multiple laps down, Ryan Newman. He was still in the race in the end, but your DNFs were Jennings, Kirby, and Calvert. That's a look at tomorrow at your running order here tonight from iRacing's virtual Dover Motor Speedway. Your top 3 already standing on by. Let's start things off with the discussions with your race winner tonight, Patrick Cowgill. Gets the celebration already in. Welcome back to Victory Lane, Patrick. It's your 3rd in 5 races. How's it feel to come back here after a up and down past 2 weeks beforehand?
I feel much better now. That's awesome. I really was nervous going into this race because I've never been super fast at Dover, but I've been really good at saving tires. And when I qualified 5th or 6th, I don't remember where I qualified, but I was almost certain I was going to have to fight up to the front like the whole race, and I was very surprised when I got in the lead and was able to keep it. So I'm very happy about this win.
What made tonight in turn a tricky one to not just have the pace you had, but maintain said pace where everybody else was struggling behind you?
I think the biggest area that I was struggling with was out of turn 4. I had to keep adjusting my entry into 3 because I kept getting too tight off of 4. I think I hit the wall once or twice, and then also hit the wall on the entry to 3 a couple of times too.
So with that being said, still need to gain some ground in terms of the point standings here, but now with that in mind with these trucks here tonight, the next goal on hand to double check your totals for tonight is going to be interesting the rest of the way. What's kind of the mindset the rest of the season now that you know at the very least you've got a third of the season in the win column?
I'm really not sure. I know Darlington is one track I'm looking forward to because I am wicked fast there. But the rest of the tracks, I don't know, because I haven't raced against these guys on those tracks. So I guess we'll just have to see what happens.
Well, Kansas up next before then it's Darlington. But until that mark, we'll let you get to your celebration. Congrats on the team 1, 2, 3.
Thank you guys. I also got to thank Whataback and CTN, NB1, Connect and Cure. Got to thank you guys at RaceSpot, all the guys at PRL that put this together, and my teammates tonight. They were doing an awesome job as well.
Once again, Patrick Calcio gets the victory tonight. He gets it under caution, but does lead the most laps. Brendan Shatley finished in second. He's also a part of the Whataback camp. He's with Derek.
Well, Brandon, P2 tonight, and what was a very, very quiet run for you. How was it out there on the track?
I say it every time. I need long runs to be successful in this league. I just don't have the short run speed, and thankfully we got some long runs, and I was able to save tires at the beginning and get up to second there. The fun little battle with the Zach there at the end.
Were you surprised by the long run tonight?
Yes and no. We've had a league in seasons past. We've had a few long runs, but I was surprised with only a couple cautions.
All right, well, next week is Kansas. That's next up on the docket. What's your outlook for that?
Well, I've been top 5, last, top 5, last, top 5. So we'll try and break that streak next week.
Yeah, if you don't, you're going to be last based upon the way that the math pattern works. Well, great job tonight, and we'll see you next week.
All right, thanks, guys.
All right, that's Brandon Chatley finishing P2. And then last but not least here, Zach Panzarella finishes P3. Well, Zach, you said you thought you'd be in the broadcast booth. Catch up with Justin, tell him about the race.
I think Zach's in 4th, actually.
I'm P4. I'm going to say, you guys might want to... I'm P4. You guys might want to hit Mike Richter before you hit me, or I can make it quick. Up to you guys.
Okay, let's hit Mike Richter. Bye, Zach. Yeah. Hi, Mike. You finished in 3rd, to the surprise of Derek, unfortunately. But again, it's in our top 3 for you. How are you feeling? The momentum continues.
Yeah, these Whataback trucks, another 1, 2, 3 finish. I think we started out the season that way. We've had a couple bad races the last 3. I finished 4th last week, but man, we're running good. I'm having my best season ever. It's awesome. I think Patrick's continuing on his, and Brendan's in there too, and we're doing really good.
So what was the challenge about trying to keep the tires underneath you here at Dover, and why?
Well, I started up front. I had a really good qualifying. It kind of surprised me. I was good in practice. The track temps were all over the place. You can run fast laps and then lose it at the end. We didn't know how many cautions were going to come out. So I was trying to run like my quickest that I could, but still have tires at the end. And I waited too long to start pushing. I came back on 3rd and 4th, or 2nd and 3rd at the end, and was running them down. I should have started a little sooner. I was saving too much, I think. But all in all, we did good.
Now, what are your thoughts for you and your team at Kansas coming up?
Oh, I think we got a good shot at Kansas. I think it's not, 1.5 miles. I always run good at 1.5 miles, and Kansas is fun. It's one of those tracks where I think things will spread out and we'll have green flag runs. You know, we did tonight. We only had a few cautions, which was good. And I expect the same from Kansas.
On that note, once again, congratulations on the podium. Good luck the rest of the way. We'll see you at Kansas.
Hey, thank you guys. Thanks, Waterback. Thanks, PRL. We'll see you again.
Mike Richter closed out the top three here tonight. Here for tonight's coverage of the Truck Series here at the PRL. Your thoughts on the truck car, Derek, as we get ready for Kansas after this.
Wow, I'm surprised by the long green flag run we saw, JP. I thought for sure to be a couple more loose trucks and a little bit more, tire problems. So great job for those guys. But now, as you said, there's no place like home. 1 week from tonight at Kansas, 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time, 12:30 a.m. GMT. You and I will be there, ready to see who can follow the yellow brick road down to victory lane.
Should be an interesting time in Kansas. We'll see if there is, or what type of race is the better phrase, once we get there. But the action's still not done at Dover because it's time to reset. It's time for the second portion of the card. It's the Grand National Series, and the Grand National cars look to go all grandly around this nationally seen racetrack. Derek Watson once again as a co-announcer, Justin Prince here in the lead announcing seat. Your thoughts on tonight now for the Grand National cars for this side of the card?
I don't know, JP. Look at the schedule here. First off, you got Dover tonight, then Kansas and Darlington, and then week 8 is Road America. That's the one difference in the schedules, followed by Charlotte here. So we'll wait and see how that Road America course pans out. Let's take a look at the points here. These points look a little different as gap-wise. You see Richard Regan has a 23-point lead over teammate Dustin Scruggs, with Reese Bogue up in third, of Regan Bogue Motorsports 1, 2, 3. Then Bradley Holly and Daniel Knight fourth and fifth, with Colton Lane, Abner Acosta, Jeff Evans, Adam Zimke, and Mark Kalin rounding out your top 10.
It's been a good season for Richard, and in turn, no surprise, Regan Bogue Motorsports up at the top. Waterback Racing has shown flashes. They're second coming in. RBM2 in third. Waterback Racing TNT and Waterback Racing back row in the 255 range. Six Box Motorsports rounding out the 200-point range, and everybody else is looking for some luck in the team standings. But the race style we're about to see on hand here for this one, that blimp is going to have a lot of different angles to look at.
Yeah, lots of different angles we can possibly see from the track here as you see the iRacing blimp up there in the sky looking down on this incredible racing facility. It's been around forever and produced a lot of great races in real life and virtually all the way around. Well, qualifying is about to begin here, JP, and we'll see who can put themselves on pole. And I think we proved from the last race, qualifying is majorly important at a track like this.
We'll see how track position comes into play here. 5 minutes of qualifying, 2 laps up on the board. Now, as the drivers get themselves ready to hit the racetrack here, we'll see who hits it first. Talk us through what we're about to see for the drivers here tonight for qualifying. This time, perspective, Richard Regan Jr., talk us through it.
Yeah, Regan's going to get himself up on the track here and going to try to manage those tires, not let too much heat get into them here. So you're going to go a little slow as much as possible here. And he'll start to pick up the speeds here. And managing the temps in those tires are really important. Now, I'm surprised he went top side there, but wants to get some speed in the car. And this will probably be a first lane faster. But man, look, JP, how quickly that car got loose there out of 4. Now you see Richard there on camera wearing that VR headset and gets it out of 1 and 2 safely. Pretty calm, no big wiggles. Here you go. You were talking about that last race. There's the first hit to the bottom. Oh, not a double diamond. I thought he would. Gets it up out of 3 and 4 and finishes a lap here. Waiting for official timing in a second. Let me see if I can find it here.
23.305.
23.305, yeah. We'll see the second lap is faster. I suspect with the tire tips here, I don't think a second run will be faster. Let's find out, though.
He's trying, though. Got a little bit loose. Answer is no. He was 0.2 quicker in final practice. Stephen Haslett also amongst those in the field tonight. 23.4s for him. Jeff Emmons, Mark Kalin also rate complete runs. There's also another viewpoint to try and build up runs. There's that top line. Oh, look, he remembered to put the icon on social medias now.
Yeah, there's Matt Gagnon, last week's winner, won the race at Talladega last week, and I've been working with him, I guess, to help him get that thing. But yeah, now he's got the Instagram logo there, handwritten it himself, and got his name there, and then it says, oh, first race 427. That's not today, is it?
Is he referencing a real world race coming up?
Oh yeah, he actually, that's right. He drives a race car of some kind that I should remember that he'll yell at me for after the race. But yeah, he does race in real life, so that's probably what he's promoting there. We really got to get him like a QR code or something.
But that requires printer ink. I'm not sure which Matt you're talking about, but okay. I missed the wave.
We both did. There's Thomas Sink on the track in the 48 machine here, and now doing it pretty well. What I suspect out of these cars, although qualifying is not proving it, I thought these cars would wiggle a little harder and be a little harder to drive out of the corners, JP. We'll see how race conditions fare, but everyone's doing a pretty good job so far of managing the corner exits.
Abner Acosta working around the racetrack as well. He's been solid in his start so far. It is worth noting as well, we will have one less driver the rest of the season. Nick Bayer announced that he's taking the season off. His second child was born just this past Friday. The focus now will be raising the new toddler as well as newborn for the rest of this campaign. So the 00 done for the year.
Yeah, by the way, coming back here, you see Doug Evans here. Had a good run last week and didn't finish as well as he wanted, but great job there, part of Whataback Overdrive. A Pontiac Grand Prix, by the way, is the car that Matt Gagnon races in real life. Had to go back through my notes to find that.
That would be a bone stock, I'm
yes,
assuming.
I believe so.
So, yes. But Doug Evans, go ahead. You go ahead.
So they up in New England. I can't remember what track it is. He up in New England. I think he's a Connecticut native. Maybe Josh Woody can correct me on my ears from last week's talk if I'm wrong, but I'm just a Connecticut relative. He's, by the way, JP, catch this. He's a New Englander. That'd be Matt Gagnon, not Doug Evans here. Matt Gagnon, a New Englander who hates seafood.
Interesting. Two penalties coming into tonight. One, a significant one. Reese Bogue ended up getting a sporting regulation violation because he passed Richard Regan Jr. at the end of the race instead of maintaining single file with the late race cautions. Also, a regulations violation meant no qualifying for Bradley Hawley after a double block from the bottom ended up having, well, a big one caused on lap 60 of said race. Those drivers will have a long way to make their way to the field here in just a few moments because qualifying is over. The interesting thing about the B-roll shots you see here, iRacing recently made an update to Dover's artwork. To add the new Xfinity branding to the front stretch, you'll see that in live action here tonight. You know who's in live action? A dead even pole time. Wow. Acosta and Regan Jr. to the nearest 10,000. Acosta got the pole. Ted Lomendick, Daniel Knight, Thomas Sink, Jeff Evans, your top six. Next row, it's Kalin and Gagnon. Hassett starts off in the 9th position here tonight. First time seeing him really here with Nick McLaughlin, Ted Loving, and Zepke. Doug Evans and Colton Lane are on the next page. Rest of the times put up. Scruggs and Morgan. And a lot of no qualifiers. Hawley began. Bogue, Cervantes with a crash in quali. Dean, Geyer, all to the back. Much hotter for this race, Derek. Your keys to win.
Ooh, I said patience last race, and I think that's still the case here. It's got to be patience. Now with the hotter track, the corners will be even more treacherous under race conditions, I would think, and tires are going to fall off even faster here. So I think tire management and patience on the throttle will be important, but I mean, the biggest key to the race is qualifying. That already happened for Abner, Acosta, Regan, maybe even Ted Lowendick. End of line penalties, I know why they exist. They're not even though. An end of line penalty, maybe at like a Talladega or Daytona, is not nearly as harmful as one here at Dover. Respo, Bradley Holly, and others have a mountain to climb to even be relevant, I think, in standings tonight.
The field now takes itself onto the racetrack. We already know Regan Jr. and Costa are both very solid. Who is your pick, in your opinion, tonight, and why?
I think Matt Gagnon, who won last week, really came out of the race with a lot of confidence, really felt like he belonged a little bit. Just talking after the race, he felt very relaxed, felt very more confident than I kind of remember him being before. I'd like to see him get back up here and see if he can compete again. He really felt like he belonged a little bit in RBM last week.
Being glad happy with this, it's the PRL's Grand National Series and the Monster Mile on display. Dover Motor Speedway in control for the restarts, or at least the first one. Abra Costa, Richard Regan Jr. alongside. Green flag in the hand of Barney as they get ready for the first start of the day. Green flag is out. We're underway from Dover. Look up top side as Acosta holds on for the first lap led of the day. 55 minutes once again on the board. Tonight's distance, if it goes green, 140 laps. So expected to be a one-stopper on gas and tires. Maybe two-stop on tires, depending on if people start to pop tires.
Yeah, if this stays green, a two-tire stop is not out of the question here with the way that tires are going to wear under that heat. But then there's already a car in the wall up there on lap 2 or lap 3, whatever we're on here. By the way, the reason this got singled out pretty quickly, JP, there was a humongous checkup on the inside on the starts. Not sure if it was Ted Lowendick or who it was that got checked up there, but there was a massive checkup on the inside right as we went green.
Thomas Sink apparently does have damage from your checkup mentioned there. That was with contact for hearing from Mark Hanlon. So Sink will have to deal with aerodynamic damage in the field tonight. Acosta is good at saving. You have to give him that credit. Regan Jr. waiting for a chance to try and force him to push more than anything else possibly.
Yeah, Regan's really good at making you feel pressure. Regan's really great at making his presence known. So we'll wait and see if he can make that happen. Of course, Abner is a veteran. He's not as intimidated as some of the newer drivers in the league here. So it'd be interesting to see this battle happen. Probably not for the first time. Look at the checkup here. Watch the bottom lane, JP. Let's see where it starts. There's the green flag. Yeah, it's from, I guess, P3 on back. Looks like maybe Lowendick just missed the start and the cars behind him didn't.
It is a tricky place to start and restart after all. Heart of the banking, concrete. Not pretty if you time it up wrong. Regan Jr., though, he wants clean air and quickly. He's holding the bottom a lot better than Acosta. And Acosta's already going full block.
Look at this here. Regan's going to try to make the pass on the outside, or just I thought he was. Backs out of it a little bit now. If there's someone who I think has the skill and the ability to make that powerful move on the outside, it would be Richard Regan. Man, look at it all over the back bumper here. Not touching, but basically touching.
You're just a touch bit close. But Regan Jr. trying to find that double diamond. We touched upon that more with the truck last time out. But this car is very distinct. If you're too hard on the entry and exit, people can tell.
Yeah, I can tell very easily here. It'd be very obvious when you're going to wash out of a corner and lose a lot of speed doing it here. But right now, Acosta and Regan are the head of the class, already putting about, half a second or so on Daniel Knight back to P3. You see it on your screen there. Lowendick in fourth. And then Mark Kalin having a very quiet, solid run here up in P5.
Yeah, so far so very solid, but it's still not even 10 laps of racing itself in. Knight and Low and Dick are holding on to essentially their starting spots as well here. And it's interesting to see Knight still driving solid to start things off at least. He showed flashes in that 17 that's back there in third. He needs to keep it up though. Meanwhile, speaking of flashes, drivers look to try and go splish splash. Let's go flashing through the snow or at least the pack.
Yep, there's Dustin Scruggs in the 11 in that Makona machine. Nick McLaughlin back there in that black and green 37. Got Steven Hassett back there, Steve Loving back there. Bradley Holly's up at 13th already, so he's having a solid run. But this is the battle back here, and this is where mistakes can happen. Look at it. Oh, man, the 65 touched the apron, and look at that car. Man, he got that saved somehow.
Hassett having some troubles. Yeah, that's going to be a high move for the clutch machine. And away goes Bradley Holly. Different look for Holly. He's gone full chrome tonight. But Holly is not going to make it up front unless he gets some cautions here. Better yet, don't have it fall in his lap. Here's his viewpoint for the camera on his head.
Yeah, this is a great view Bradley Holly's come up with here. You see him here, watch the He's on and off the throttle and see the whole race experience here.
And you can almost tell with the steering movements, trying to limit him. He has got to have to be careful, though. He's already picking up some 0Xs from car contact.
Yeah, I noticed that as well. You see a little alert on the top of the screen. The green font there indicates there was a little bit of car contact. Nothing that he needs to get an actual incident point for, but a small bump. Maybe in the words of the Killers, it was only a kiss.
Take a look at Matt Gagnon, meanwhile. Just had to let somebody go. That was Dustin Scruggs, his teammate. Oh, trouble behind him. Yet again, Hansett nearly wrecking the car.
Ooh.
His debut is not going fun. Adam Zemke trying to hope that doesn't fall in his lap.
Yeah, Adam Zemke got nervous. He saw the car swing way to the inside. Was hoping just to avoid. Oh, there's a spinning car. Right behind Matt Gagnon. Whoever that was, I can't tell.
Thomas
That was Sink.
Going to have Sink's having problems still. Thomas Sink still dealing with the damage and is falling fast.
I think Sink maybe had a better run through the corner than Matt Gagnon and just sort of got a little too close and tapped the brakes, I think, and then it sort of a bad reaction with the car, but we had to see a replay to confirm that. But I think he just got a little too close and got on the brakes and just lost the car in the process here. So Sink's back in line, no caution, great save by Thomas Sink.
So Thomas Sink needs a caution for repairs at the rate it's going here. Up in front of him, Kalen getting a little bit dirty. Here's what happened with Sink. Oh, he hit him in the back end instead. He's put himself.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you're right. He did hit him. I thought maybe he tried to check it up, but no, he just kind of went in there and made the contact and paid the price for it. Here's now Jeff Evans way up the track. That's it back there in P7.
Some apologies over the radio.
Yeah, sorry.
But Scruggs, his bread and butter is usually short tracks, though. He had a great run at Richmond, remember, a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, had a great run in that number 11 machine and really has had a pretty solid season, up there in the points in second. Of course, right now the points leader's up running P2, so Dustin is going to lose a few more points here, but up 9 spots since the race began. That's a big victory. Now that him and Jeff Evans are both trying to run down Mark Catlin here.
The 9 positions still the biggest mover of the field so far. Most spots lost, Thomas Sink. Here's Kalen. And I believe he's added a Goodyear tire because, what reminds you not to shred your tires, put a tire next to you.
Yeah, he might need that later in the race if this stays green. He might need to just hop over there and use that and put it on the car and keep going. Man, look at Evans swinging it way wide out there. That is scary to see that happen because one swing a little too far and that race will end fairly early. Well, here we are. We are about 10 minutes in, JP, and we're green so far. As you said, if this stays green too long, these drivers will need to make a green flag pit stop, and that's something that I think maybe a lot of people don't practice and don't respect how hard it is here at Dover.
Yeah, that is going to be extremely difficult today. Here's Holly and Gagnon's comparisons on cameras. Gagnon's behind, Holly's in front. You know, the fun little twist in terms of that bottoms camera for Holly, that middle. First of all, I think he keeps forgetting he's wearing a camera. Second, he changed all the room light bulbs to match the paint scheme.
Yeah, he did, didn't he? And he got that blue look this week. Sometimes it's red, sometimes it's different. Now we go. Now you see Bradley flip. That camera is flipped over so you can see the in-race perspective for Bradley Holly here. And now on screen, you'll see Nick McLaughlin trying to get behind Matt Gagnon here. And he'll have to fall back in line for the moment.
Oh, more troubles yet again in behind him. Stephen Haslett is having a mar of a time in the backdrop. That 65 does not look like it's having a fun time getting grip anywhere on the racetrack.
Now grip could become a little easier in a moment or two here, JP. Look how dark the track has become. And I can say the track has already dropped 2 degrees. That doesn't sound like a lot, but it shows it's already happening pretty fast here. As that track temp drops, if it keeps up, there'll be more grip in this track.
So far, 10 minutes down, 25 laps down on the board this time by. Let's check in with some of the other cars around the racetrack again. Kalen, he's been reeled in by Scruggs and by Holly. What's the pace looking like? Well, Bradley Holly is still in the 24-second bracket. Kalen and Scruggs are in the 25 flats.
Yeah, and that just shows you how well these guys can drive this car and save a tire. If you're still in the 24s, 10 and a half, 11 minutes into a run, and that can make a difference long term in where you finish in this race. Here goes Bradley Holly now making a pass and trying to get around here to Dustin Scruggs. I made the comment that I thought Bradley Holly had a basically insurmountable mountain to climb to be relevant in the standings, JP. He has worked his way from an EOL up to P7 in about 11 minutes.
Not a bad day so far. And pretty soon in the top 5.
Yeah, pretty calm day here. Now up to Mark Kalen will be next, and then Jeff Evans. Those 2 passes would put him in the top 5 here. But you know what's closed up a little bit, JP? If we go back to the front for a moment, Abner Acosta and Richard Regan's down to half a second. That's the closest that gap has been in a while. And Regan is just, I like it. He's staying relevant. He doesn't feel the need to make the move happen. He's not going to press anything. He's not going to make contact. He's just there.
That's kind of what he just needs to do. Good points, Dave, regardless of what happens here. As long as there's nothing that stops him mistake-wise, I mean. But also, Acosta's running his race. We know Richard Regan Jr.'s advantage in some races has been the 40-plus lap run, or rather past 40 laps. Acosta did show good speed before, correct me if I'm wrong, for Richmond, past 60 that day.
Yeah, and it has shown great speed a lot of times as Abner Acosta, so wait and see how this plays out. Well, there's the sun. The track had dropped down to 99 degrees Fahrenheit, so a 4-degree temp difference from the green flag. But here we go. Now it's probably heat up again, and it'll just undo whatever we just had here. Here's Mark Kalen, Bradley Holly. Bradley's all over Mark Kalen. Look at that car just glitter or flash or sparkle, whatever you want to call it, in the lights there, JP.
Yeah, it very much sparkles. It tries to bring some attention to it after all. It likes to shine. I mean, our spotter puts the phrasing apparently being shared about what back. They call it peacocking.
Yeah, I can see that. You kind of spread your wings and show off, and like a peacock or the NBC logo, if you will, just kind of that flashy, bright set of colors happening right there. But that is, as you said, a different paint from what I can remember for Bradley Holly. But the gap behind him, by the way, is closing. Him and Mark Kalen are really putting the pace here on Scruggs, even Nick McLaughlin in the background. Matt Gagnon, by the way, back to P10, almost out of this picture. Look at, there's McLaughlin. There's finally Gagnon as they're about to enter the next corner.
10 seconds back in the leader already for the 10th position. But it's a very much driver's car with this track. Kalen nearly drove the car into the bubbles, the wall sponge wall.
Yeah, this is not the track with Kalen Corner, but he almost made himself one right there and just sort of wanted to sign the wall, but avoided doing so here with about 41 minutes left.
I was about to say, you can make any wall your wall if you believe hard enough.
Yeah.
Kalen just about made it his wall.
Yeah, he certainly did right there. And Bradley's really all trying to, every corner is trying to find just an inside run here and trying to see if he can make something happen. I almost wonder if Bradley would be better off just for one lap being different and trying to run the high side, see if he could kind of fake Mark Kalen out and see if he could get around that way here. Well, JP, now the question in my head, we're about 15 minutes in. You know, right now we're showing signs. Oh, there's the pass. Maybe, but oh yeah, Kalen's way high. This will be an easy pass for Holly. We're about 15 minutes in, all green flag runs. As you and I said, we cannot, if we stay green here, there's no way they cannot pit. Maybe twice, if not once. When do you make that first stop? I think it's coming for some drivers for the next 10 minutes or so.
We're 96 estimated laps to go for reference. In about 140 laps. Trying to do the math quickly, that would put a lot of drivers towards a 60-60 no. If anything, that's the concern. Normally, you would go 70 laps and then pit. There's a chance we see a tire pop by lap 70.
Yeah, I sure say. I don't think these tires can go 70 laps. Or if they can, the wear on the tire and the speed loss would be so massive compared to someone pitting that it would be a very interesting math problem to see how that works out, you know, on lap times and time gained and what have you. So I suspect by the 30 minutes left, so the next 9 minutes and 21 seconds, we will see some cars down pit road for the first of probably 2 scheduled pit stops. So here's a nice 3-car battle right here. That's the 4-car of Reese Bogue. It's got Thomas Sink and Danny Cervantes behind him here. That's 10th, 11th, and 12th on track, JP.
There's a lot of conversation already. Thomas not happy with the car at the very least right now. Danny Cervantes trying to recover from crashing in qualifying. That's why he didn't put up qualifying time at all in the 25 tonight. Just seeming like he's following the team boss, though.
Yeah, well, it's a safe play to follow the team boss and have a good run here. Danny is someone who I think has moments of brilliance, and maybe his finishes don't always reflect that, same as Kyle Dewey back in a truck race. But Danny is doing pretty well this season overall, and Reese Bogue was relevant last week at Talladega. Had to start from the back this week. Up to 10th already for Reese Bogue. Oh man, look at that. Matt Gagnon swung it way to the inside there.
Yeah, another swing you've seen in the backdrop, but for now it's fine. For now, it's fine. Give it a moment. Zepke getting Dort there, but you know what's happening? Second spot, Regan Jr. He's now falling back. He has fallen a second. Acosta seems to be better tonight. Daniel Knight even looks to be starting to get some solid momentum.
Yeah, Daniel Knight here is in the picture. Ted Lowendick sitting back there, a little out of the way, just waiting to see if something happens and he can benefit from it. But everyone is kind of biding their time here and waiting to see what moves they can make. There's our yellow. There it is. Well, we're going to find a yellow on the track in a moment. Caution is out, JP. This will change lots of strategy.
From what we're hearing, it might have been Bajin and Haas said Haas an apology on the radio. That was the battle for about 18th position. Let's take a look.
There they are, side by side. Now, Haas has had a lot of problems this race already. Oh, man, I don't know that Haas did anything wrong. He didn't necessarily track out all the way, but that's not his problem. That was on Bajin for just not knowing. Watch it again here. They're going to come out of the corner, and Dominic's just going to come up out of the corner.
Yeah.
And, yeah, put him in the wall. Not clear.
65 definitely didn't track up to the wall, but the 66 also did come up. Let's see from his view. Yeah, he still turned right.
Yeah, from a single monitor view, he made us assumed he had more space. Oh my gosh, Nick McLaughlin barely got by there. But that's, if I was in the role of assigning blame, it has to be on Dominic there just for making the contact. But here we go. first round of pit stops, everyone's down pit road here. Not a surprise at all.
Well, that simplifies strategy about 200 full possibly, but it's about execution, right? Expecting the 4 tires. You still need to get it done right.
Yeah, we'll wait and see. Look how close Regan is here on the back bumper of your race leader. Wants to get every second possible down pit road gained here. Let's see if Regan can win the race off of pit road. Is that James Morgan? What is that? Is that... I'm going to check that out. Was that 2 tires?
He missed it.
He missed it.
Okay.
There's no way he got all the way up there with 4 tires. So he'll have to come back around. And Abner Acosta does win the race off of pit road.
No change so much. Top 4. Bradley Holly net top 5 though. This caution is exactly what I mentioned earlier. Bradley, he's in the ball game for the lead possibly on the next restart already. So with this restart coming up in the next few laps or so, what's going through the mind now knowing we've seen a lengthy run, 20 plus minutes. Now it's a one-stopper for everyone.
Yeah, I mean, I think probably what's on the mind of Richard Regan is winning this restart, getting ahead early on Acosta and just making it happen and just getting around him. But now you have to know, if you looked at your standings lately, you have to know the names are coming. Bradley Holly's up there. Look at that in P5. You got Jeff Evans back there. You got Mark Kalin back there, who's had an amazing season. Ted Lowendick's back there. So you have to know you don't have any time to mess around here. You have to make something happen and make it happen fast.
So again, to reset, it is Acosta, Regan Jr., Knight and Lowendick, Kalin and Hawley, Scruggs, Evans, McLaughlin, Bogue. We start on leader. How do you play this if you're Acosta then?
I probably wait until the last second to go here. I don't want to get a jump here and risk spinning the tires or anything. The easiest way not to let a driver jump you is to not jump to start yourself. Also, second gear for the record.
Yes. Not first gear.
No, please no.
Like we might see the truck. Now, green, green, green. Clean start, clean run. Back underway, Derek.
Well, Abner Acosta clearly won that restart. Look at that gap he has there to Knight and then to Regan, who's now right behind him. Oh, man, just barely cleared Knight. So now look at that gap they're going to gain, though, pretty quickly. A little help of a draft. Not a common word used at Dover, but still relevant here. And they're now right up on the back end of Abner Acosta.
Already the send, already the race lead. Richard Regan Jr. looking for his spot, takes his spot. What a good restart lap, and what a good setup for the 56.
Yeah, what a great setup. I thought Regan really had just missed the start, maybe was sleeping, but no, he did the right thing, laid back, and got the run here. Now Daniel Knight is all over Abner Acosta.
Oh, and now Knight hard to the wall. A little bit of contact for the 17. Outside of that, looks to be okay.
Overall, this group maybe back except for in front of Jeff Evans has it all single filed out. They're all running pretty safely here, and even Jeff Evans now single file. You got to go back probably 10, 11 cars before you can find your first side-by-side battle.
Yeah, but this is almost the trend when it comes to this track. It's hard to pass the longer the run goes, after all. That's because it's very bottom dominant.
Yeah, it is. It's very bottom dominant. Sort of it's not a single groove racetrack, but it's pretty darn close to a single groove racetrack here. So that's why restarts are important, because it's your one moment to really get up under someone and, get them loose or whatever you have to do to make that pass happen, just like Richard Regan did here to take that lead.
Acosta wants his lead back, though. Remember, he pulled away in clean air after 35-ish laps last run. Richard Regan Jr. was dead even though at this part of the run. It's going to take Acosta getting a little bit aggressive maybe if he really wants it now, this moment.
Yeah, and right now, Abner Acosta needs to have a solid finish to the season, in order to be points relevant in the top 2 or 3 in points. And, so he needs to get back up there. He needs to secure that bonus point for leading the most laps. He needs to win this race and do what he can here. Regan benefits from a 23-point lead prior to the drop weeks taking effect next week. So Regan's really just in the dominant position here. And with this win would be even more so than he already is.
Some of the chatter started received from the night camp. It's worth noting is, well, there is the potential. What we're seeing here is Regan Jr. trying to make everybody work to his pace. Be the leader, save the tire, force everyone to exert their effort to try and pass him.
Yeah, Regan's great when it comes to really setting his own pace and making people adapt to him. Very often does someone get Richard Regan in a spot where he has to do something he doesn't want to do. Typically, he's the dominant figure, always willing to kind of set the path and set the rules and make things happen his way here. And by the way, Bradley Holly now in front of Mark Keelan. That happened a few laps ago, but Bradley Holly's up to P5 and having a great night after that unfortunate starting spot.
Still no changes up front amongst the top 3. The pace is starting to fall more and more, but the top 3 are starting to set themselves apart here. I almost wonder, does Knight try and make a move here eventually?
He's going to have to. He's going to have to get around to Costa and make his presence known at some point here. The problem with making the move here, JP, is if you do it and you're wrong, you can end up sliding back pretty far. So like a move at Bristol, when you mess that move up, it can take you a long time to slot yourself back in line. So what Knight doesn't want to do is try to make a move and fail and end up there, behind Kalen, behind Holly, or even worse, behind a Scruggs or a Reese Bogue, just because he missed the pass.
Costa still saving a little bit himself. I almost wonder, though, with knowing what's at stake, does anyone push the envelope or does anyone go full send save? Acosta nearly went envelope. You have to lift a lot to avoid punting the 56.
Yeah, and Acosta doesn't want to do that. He's been around forever. Him and Regan have enough respect to not race that manner, but you can see it. Acosta has the speed here, now has to find a way to use it. Took a little bit of a higher lane there, and now we'll dip back in line.
Just can't get the diamond to be able to poke. They're that dead even in terms of raw pace. Looking back a little bit, Jeff Evans, Danny Cervantes swap spots. That's for ninth.
Danny, part of Regan Bogue Motorsports, who's having a great night here. Got Richard Regan up in first. And then you get Knight in third. You got Reese Bogue up there in eighth. Cervantes in ninth. So pretty solid run for RBM so far.
Yeah, RBM as a whole continuing what's been a solid campaign for them on the Grand National side of the card. 28 minutes to go. Halfway in this race this time around. Ooh. And Acosta near bump and run again.
Well, and Lowendick almost with the bump and run back to Daniel Knight back there. Lowendick really dug it deep into that corner and realized he couldn't make it work, so backed out of it. But I thought Lowendick was going to dive in there on Daniel Knight.
And they're now bunched up line to stern. 7 drivers within 0.8 of a second. Something's going to have to give if they're this close.
Well, the other thing they might have to give is a tire. I know we talked about it before being a hypothetical, but from where they pitted, plus 30 minutes, could they need to pit again? Could someone blow a tire here? Could someone pop a tire? Is everyone confident they can make it if we stay green?
And Lowendick looks like he wants to try and make something work in the next moment or so. He's over the back end of Daniel Knight. No space to go there either. Same for Holly. Kalen just trying different lines to see what sticks. They are starting to ditch Dustin Scruggs at the tail end, though. There's the poke. Knight starting to have to send it for defensive measures instead. This is allowing the top 2 to run.
Yeah, this will allow the top two to run. Indeed, anytime you have that gap back there where you're racing hard, it'll let everyone ahead of you get away a little bit here. So if you're a Knight, if you're a Lowendick, a Holly, even a Kalen, as I said earlier, if you can make the move, make it. But, oh man, make sure you can make it. And the move Daniel Knight just made was hitting the wall.
You know, the fun thing about the pace being set right here, this helps a lot of people save fuel. It's going to be interesting how the fuel numbers line up if it stays green. Ted Lowendick says, you know what, enough's enough. Somebody has to go. But Daniel Knight gets a better run. In fact, Knight uses the line to pull away.
Yeah, that's what they need to do. In a way, and I wish someone would figure it out, they need to do something here to make Richard Regan not run his race, whether it be pressuring him or maybe everyone moves to the outside, makes the pass or something. Don't let Richard Regan dominate and direct how your race goes. Go out there and be the person who sort of fulfills your own destiny here.
Down to the final 26 minutes, inside 26 minutes, in fact. For those curious, 22 laps into the tire run. Stint is at 20 laps, hot temperatures too. Remember, the temperatures for the truck race were in the 80s. For the track, they're in the hundreds still. They have gone down, including the fact that the weather radar expects it to cool down an extra couple degrees, if not more, in the next 10 minutes.
Yeah, so track tip right now is 104 degrees Fahrenheit, so very, very slick track. That sun came back out after a couple minutes of cloud, and we went back up from 99 to 104. So right now, we'll wait and see if it does cool off here. I mean, it is getting kind of late virtual sim time. It is 3:18 p.m. virtual sim time. So you would think that the weather would cool off a little bit in the next 24 minutes.
Yeah, it's expected to go down, as said, but that leads to the obvious thought here. Right now, if the numbers are good on the gas, what are you doing to make sure you don't pop the tire? I know that sounds like an obvious question, but what would you be doing?
Well, I think that camera shot right there showed it, and watch it again here as Regan and Acosta and others come through the corner. Look at him here. See that? Most of them right in the middle of that corner. Look at how Acosta's riding it. Everyone else got to the bottom a little bit there, but and through 1 and 2, they're all right in the middle of the corner. Now, it's not the fastest way around per se, but what it does is less input into that steering wheel means less, wear on that tire. Therefore, hopefully you can go longer without popping that tire. That's all you can do is, be gentle on the tires, maybe backing up your corners, maybe lifting instead of braking and not, burning the tire quite as hard. And we talk every week about, tire preservation is hard for some drivers. To some drivers, it comes easily. It's like, there's just certain skills in life. Either you have it or you don't. Either you're right-handed or you're left-handed. Either you can, pat in the head and rub your belly, or you can't. Either you can save tires or you can't.
Speaking of those that are struggling on saving, meanwhile, Dustin Scruggs, he's lost touch of the lead group. In fact, he's fallen into the clutches of the rest of his teammates. If you look at that pylon, he's 1.8 seconds nearly back of the leaders. Some drivers like the 11 in that backdrop are falling back like a stone.
Yeah, they're falling back pretty quickly, aren't they? But man, what's not falling back is Abner Acosta. Look how close he was that time onto the back bumper of Richard Regan. So he's making himself known, letting Regan know he's still here, still racing, still doing his best. And with 22 minutes to go, just being very, very patient here is Abner Acosta.
I mean, he knows he has to be able to save on gas, but also this kind of helps him in terms of the tempo, just to be able to stay within arm's reach. That leads to the obvious question soon of when is the go sign? Because every time someone's trying to go, it hasn't really worked. In fact, your best chance to pass in this group in the past little bit is Ted Lowendick having some connection troubles and having his internet basically fall out of the wall. In fact, he lets Brownie Holly go because no one can tell where Ted is.
Yeah, we'll see if we can get that sorted out here. But, the question you asked is valid in a couple different manners. When is go time? For some drivers, that means when do I just go full throttle? When do I stop saving gas? When do I think I've saved enough gas that I'm good till the end? But the flip side of when is it go time is, are there any drivers here who feel they still need the pits? Are there any drivers here who think they can't make it on gas and the tire's worn out? That go time really could apply to two different strategies in the same race.
The tough part about having to come into the pit lane, though, is going to be, well, quite simply, it's near 2 laps you lose by taking the pit stop, Derek.
Oh, yeah, you have to hope everyone's going to do it, or that you think that the time you gain with new tires is worth it. It is an incredibly slow crawl. It's 35 miles an hour down that pit road. It was funny, Dylan Coyle and I were on the call for the GT3 race last night at Circuit de la Sarthe, and we commented about how slow 37 miles an hour felt on that pit road. 35 here feels even worse.
Battle for 6th and lower screen. You mentioned Scruggs earlier on. He's fallen into the clutches. Freeze Bogue and Denny Zermentis. Mark Kalin has also fallen off from the lead pack.
Yeah, Kalen's up there in P5. Got Scruggs in P6, Bogue in P7, Cervantes in P8. So there's a nice 4-car battle there. Really 2 separate 4-car battles. We had a 1, 2, 3, 4 up here on the top of your screen. Even a 5 up there with Ted Lowendick. And look at that, Reese Bogue now is going to make the move to the inside of Dustin Scruggs and does not complete it.
Looking a little bit loosey-goosey there. Scruggs having some bubbles. The boss man stays behind for the time being, though. Up front, less than 20 minutes to go. About 36, 37 laps into the run. If anybody was to split the race and try the strat, it'd be in the next 10 laps.
Yeah, it's going to happen now because there has to be enough time on the clock for you to benefit from those new tires. If you do it with 5 minutes to go, then there's not enough time to benefit from whatever speed you'll get out of those new tires. So if I was someone who wanted to make the move, if I was maybe a Colton Lane, a Chris Dean, a Matt Gagnon back in 15th, I would ponder the move. What do I have to lose? I'm already pretty far back in the field. Let's just try something. Let's experiment and see how it works. But you have to do it now. Every lap you let go by is one less lap you have to run on new tires.
With the current pace being set, some of the estimates we're hearing is drivers seem like they are okay on gas. Keyword is just okay for now. But that's without pushing. Right now, hearing that Dustin Scruggs is pitting. The 11 just said he's pitting this time.
There it is. There's some driver who apparently thinks he cannot make it and deciding he's going to come down pit road. We'll see what he does tire-wise. Watch the bottom of your screen here. Gets it slowed down off the track. A little sketchy entrance there, but got it down here. Gets it down to pit road speed, 35 miles an hour. As you said, incredibly slow. He'll probably lose 2 laps here throughout this whole process, but watch him down pit road here, JP.
It's a bold call if no one else comes down, but if it ends up being a solid stint in terms of how many people come on down with them eventually, it might pay off. 40 laps that stint on the racetrack per spotter reports. Under 18 minutes to go. Acosta's changing up his marks, though. He's looking for the diamond line now all of a sudden.
Yeah, he's backed off of Regan. Maybe wants to see what he can do with some clean air on the front of that car and not just the dirty air from the block of Richard Regan. So we'll see if he can make something different happen here. Yeah, unfortunately, while it is 17 minutes away, if you're Abner Acosta, it doesn't appear that long when you're trying to find a way around one of the more talented PRL drivers.
Back behind Reese Bogue. Wants around Kalin. It looks like that the 4 is quicker, but not a space to go yet. Just waiting for the right time. We just got the report that Dustin Scruggs has just thrown something at the wall and hopes it sticks. 2 tires at Dover.
Wow. Well, that's the way to help mitigate some of the time loss. But I don't know. 2 tires as a whole is pretty risky. It unbalances the car. It can make the car very, very loose. But watch him through the corners here. Seems to have it under control for now, but also 2 tires means you don't get as much of a time advantage as you would on 4 tires. That you're right. Throwing against the wall and see if it sticks is a great analogy.
24 flats last time by. These drivers still on screen running 25 2s and 3s. So that's the one downside to, or one of several for Scruggs, is even though he's on fresher right sides, it's not as rapid of a close-up compared to if he took the 4 tires. It's a couple second difference in delta after 20 laps in theory.
Yeah, so that's the thing. I just don't think 2 tires will be as effective here. But that said, when you are burning off just that, right rear or possibly the right front tire, depending upon how you're driving, maybe just taking the right sides is an option. We'll see what it does for Scruggs. We'll keep an eye on his lap times versus the leaders to see how he does. But right now, even Abner Acosta is struggling to keep the gap he once had.
Coming up around 15 minutes to go, let's take a look back at Hawley. Remember, Ted Lowendick let him go a while ago. These 2 have now lost touch of the leaders. Same for Daniel Knight. It's a 2-horse race for the race lead now. So now it's going to be curious how this goes for battles like this one. Does Ted want his spot back now that his technical issues solved? Better yet, how does Acosta play it now with no one else on his bumper?
Oh, so if Ted wants his spot back, he needs to race it back and get it back the old-fashioned way. And there you go. Almost right on cue, he dug it to the inside and then backed off. I thought he was going to do it on cue as if he was listening, but nope, backed out of it.
Good corner exits yet again. Past the casino down the back straightaway. I think Ted might be a little bit quicker today, though, on raw pace. When looking at Ted Lowendick, his past 5 laps, he's been a little touch bit quicker compared to Bradley Hawley. Also, RaceSpoke is now stuck behind Bubbles.
Yep, definitely stuck behind Mark Kalin here. That's the battle for 6th and 7th, and they got Danny Cervantes right behind him. So we'll see how or if Danny gets involved in this battle here with about 14 minutes to go. And right now, a pretty clean race, JP. Just the one wreck in the beginning brought that yellow out. We've been on a pretty long run here. And also, so far as I can tell, only the one pitting. And that moment, do we have double? No, the captions are wrong. Okay, sorry, I got confused for a second. Thought we had double battle for 4th and both sides of the screen, but oh, there's the battle for 4th. Look at that. That is still not the right labels, I don't think. Is that, who is that passing? Is that?
That is Matt Gagnon, I think, in terms of traffic, actually. Okay. He did also pit 10 laps ago. He actually pit just before Scruggs. Just unfortunately for his sake, no one knows because he was, well, running towards the back half of the top 10. But in all seriousness here, Derek, tire warnings are popping up, we're hearing.
Oh, yeah, I'm not surprised. Between the track temp and the way that this surface eats up a tire, I'm not surprised. I think there'll be a couple drivers who will push it until it pops. And we'll see if they're able to get it down pit road afterwards.
Can they make it 50% of the tire wear in 30 laps? I know that math sounds like, oh, why not? Remember, after 50%, it starts to rapidly cook.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Think of it just like how you rip a piece of paper. Like, you know, it's hard to rip it first or harder to rip it first, but once you get down towards the bottom of the paper, it rips and shreds so much easier. The same way here. It's going to tear apart pretty quickly. I'm telling you, I'm not surprised if we stay green if we don't see a blown tire or two. We'll see it pop here, and at this racetrack, those cars are going to go flying to the top of the track here.
Acosta's starting to press the go button now with that sense of urgency for some of the others. Expect these two tires to not be as bad as some of the others, but they need to go if they want to pass. You never know when someone needs to blow or a tire needs to explode.
Yeah, you'll never know. So you got to be careful now being behind someone. The point you made is valid, that you never know if that'll happen to you. By the way, here in the back of that shot, Matt Gagnon, who you said pitted earlier, he
hold on.
is not ready.
Hold on. Richard Regan Jr. said, I can't do it. He's pitting. The 56 is coming in from the lead. for lap 100 with under 30 laps to go estimated.
Well, listen, if Richard Regan can't do it, that's probably a good sign most of the rest of the field can't do it either. Abner Acosta will take over the lead here, and now Matt Gagnon will be one car away from going one lap down, and then Matt will kind of hope that, Abner Acosta pits, and then he gets that second lap back. We'll wait and see here.
Acosta can't come in, though, with the traffic. Does he think on the counter, or does he try to roll the dice a little bit? Try and play the gamble sign and hope the tire lasts before a caution. It could go either way. That's the tough part. Right sides only, we're hearing from Richard Regan Jr. Another two-tire call from RBM.
And that's the difference in strategy here about how you need to race if you're Acosta or Regan. Regan's out here points racing. He has a points title to worry about. He has a points lead to maintain. He has to be safer. When you're Abner Acosta, who's had, not the best season so far, why not take the risk? Why not just throw caution to the wind, so to speak, and see what happens here and how it plays? You see Abner Acosta still running it pretty low on the track. And coming here out of turn 4 with about 10.5 minutes to go.
The interesting thing about those two-tire calls, Scruggs even on the two tires, and the old left side still 6 seconds ahead of the 56 on track right now. But 10 minutes to go. All eyes go on the 5. 24 estimated to go. And Daniel Knight is saying, let's go charge. Acosta has backed it down significantly all of a sudden, down to the corners.
And why not, right? Why not back it down? If tires are a concern here, whether you win by 3 seconds or you win by half a second, you won. There's no need to be more aggressive than you need to be here. So Abner Acosta is going to back it down, let Daniel Knight catch up here, let Bradley Holly catch up here. That's Holly, by the way, with Low and Dick on your screen. Holly in that bright green, almost emerald colored car this week.
Yeah, the peacocking machine still holding on for now. Low and Dick, though, better corner exit yet again, though. Can he get anything? Holly says no, thank you. Apparently,
he's trying.
Is this going to become a gentleman's agreement eventually? Remember, Ted had tech issues, let Bradley go. Now, does Bradley give it back or say, oh, what technical issue? I just seen a free spot open up and I took it. After all, I was at Free Spots or Us, the store.
Yeah, listen, if you were to give the spot back and you wanted to ask for it back, you should have done that a while ago. You can't expect any race car driver to just willingly give up a spot with less than 10 minutes to go in a race. That time passed a while ago. They could have worked that out, a long time ago had Low and Dick wanted his spot back. At this point, politeness can't be a factor here. You have to just go for it and see where you finish. Now, Holly up to third, by the way, completely proving me wrong in my analysis of the pre-race that I thought that mountain would be too big to climb, and Bradley Holly is just about up at the peak.
It is a hard one to climb in general. That's the thing. Ted hard in the corner. There he gets up to Holly, but now has the run. Good diamond exit. Now does gentleman's agreement come into play? No, what's gentleman's agreements? This is Free Spots or Us still in effect.
And look at that. Ted, though, got it inside and really stuck it there for a while. But Bradley Holly is able to power it on the outside and keep things moving. Look at this little gaggle. This is Reese Bogue, Mark Kalin. I see Jeff Evans in there. I think I saw Thomas Sink in that battle. Adam Zimke, all right here together. Oh. And Reese Bogue.
Bogue can't do it. Bogue has got a tire warning. The 4 needs to come in, and everyone seems to have gotten the heads up this time. Remember, 2 tire calls have been the trend for RBM. Does Reese Bogue get the speed limit? Just about, but he may have cooked the left front.
Yeah, no black flag for Reese Bogue, but you're right. Looked like you really kind of cooked it there. So now, once again, all eyes on the right side of Abner Acosta's car, waiting to see what's going to happen here and if Abner can hold on to that lead and that gap he has, or if he has to come down pit road as well.
I mean, at this point, the bet's been made. And that...
Oh, yeah.
You now are at the point where you're hoping the caution saves. Another tire warning just been informed throughout the field here. At this rate, it's you're either going to win the race or you're going to be in the wall. Take a choice.
And right now, Abner Acosta is just waiting for about the next 2 minutes to run off the clock. Because if that happens, we will definitely be at the point of no return, as you call it, meaning if a caution comes out, this timed race would be over. So we'll wait and see if that does happen. That'd be the best news for Abner Acosta, because then most likely under caution, no need to blow a tire. But so we'll see if he can get there, or if he has to pit first, or if the caution never comes out. That may not. We may just run it right down to the zeros.
Anyone curious? Richard Regan Jr. is the first car a lap down still. And with 6 minutes on the clock, he is 27 seconds behind the 5. Obviously, you're not catching that much time in that little amount of time on a clock, but it's going to be tricky. Acosta speed differential, you already see it there. He's running 25.2 still. The fresher tires, or at least the fresher rights, a second quicker.
Yeah, that was RaceSpoT just went by, putting himself back to 1 lap down here. So nice job there by RaceSpoT getting something back out of this. But I mean, Acosta must feel good. He's maintaining a 1 second gap on Daniel Knight. You would think if he was concerned about that tire, JP, he would back it down even more and back it down another half a second and not be running as hard as he is. But well, just about 5 even minutes on the clock here. Look at this battle. That is Mark Caitlin and Adam Zimke side by side here.
Zimke's turned this into a solid run all of a sudden. He had been running outside the top 10 much of the way. And now it's Caitlin who's not making it easy, but he put it in the fence again.
They're still side by side. They're still working on it. No one's really given an inch here. And Caitlin keeps it off the wall. Zimke's still to the inside here. Caitlin gets a better run out of the corners in theory because he has more speed build up. And then Zimke will benefit because the inside of the corner is the shorter way around.
Thomas Sink, even with the damages, still had a solid race. Looking like he's in line for a top 10 if it holds. Point of return this time by 4 minutes to go on the clock. Next flag ends the race. Acosta staying out, up by 7/10. Hawley and Lowen Dick still fighting for third.
There you go. This is probably the closest battle on track in some respects right now. Lowen Dick's been working for what feels like 10 minutes, JP, on making his one pass and trying to get it complete. And Bradley Hawley's just not blocking. He's just maintaining his spot.
Just running in pace. Just running in pace and looking to set the pace, as some may say. 2.5 seconds back. Now remember, Acosta has been one of the kings of long run in this series. Not a shark where he's at. But there is one thing. Keep an eye on if a meatball flag comes, because that's the one asterisk to this, Derek. If you get a meatball flag and it pops out of nowhere, it means your tire's gone. You just don't know it yet. You're just about to drive into the wall.
Yeah, it means it happened here. Now, what that flag, here's an interesting story to keep track of when it happens, if or when it happens to Acosta. You get 3 laps to serve it. You get 3 laps to serve it before the officials will penalize you or stop scoring you for not serving that flag under green. If it happens to Acosta, let's say with 1 to go, if he thinks he can race the car around, he will, and he'd be fine.
Well, we are currently estimated to be about 2 to 3 laps away from that point. It's going to get marginally tight. Acosta getting some luck from some of the traffic. That time it was Doug Evans. Richard Regan Jr. did get the lead lap back, but is way far back. And I just got word, meatball flag, Dalton Geyer. So our first meatball flag for flat tires is out with 2 minutes to go. Who else lasts with 2 minutes on the clock?
There's Dalton Geyer in that familiar paint scheme. He's going to have to get it down pit road safely here. That's also a battle here to get through these corners safely for Dalton Geyer. We'll see if he can get it done here. Minute 45 on the clock. Now, if you're someone in the field and you can hear that message that Dalton Geyer just got the blown tire, now you're more nervous for the next minute and a half, for a minute and 45 seconds. Scared it could happen to you. Oh, a little bit of contact almost there with Nick McLaughlin.
Oh, that was with lap traffic. That was actually Doug Evans who hit Daniel Knight. Down to under 90 seconds to go. Knight still going, but that lost him possibly the buffer he was needing.
Yeah, I lost him a humongous buffer. Look at that. Back to the back between Knight and Acosta here.
Minute to go on the clock. Expected to be down to looking like 2 to go when we get to the stripe. It's going to be tight. But Acosta has almost made it. Problem, James Morgan in front of him, blown a tire. James Morgan slow on the gas. Acosta to the inside, white flag next time by.
Ooh, that was a scary moment for Abner Acosta. Probably didn't even know it that James Morgan had blown the tire, but Morgan got to the top of the track and now is going to try to get down pit road here.
A fuel mileage and a tire mileage race breaking out. What a run at Dover for the Grand National Series here with the PRL. White flag is out. Final time around for Abner Acosta. Acosta just needs to keep it going on the track for 2 more sets of corners.
He comes out of 1 and 2. Got to safely up here on the back straight.
No more flat tires this time around. Abner Acosta keeps the tires going all the way around. Checker flag waves. Abner Acosta wins the Monster Mile. The differential up to about 7/10 at the stripe. One of the best runs for Daniel Knight this season, if not this year. Bradley Hawley in third. And a lot of talk on the radio, but it's Acosta who saves the tires and the gas to get here.
Yeah, what a great job by Abner Acosta here to save the gas, save the tires, did everything he could, and he will come home and get to go to victory lane.
So it's Abner Acosta who gets himself the dub. The number 5 gets the checker flag to get the job secure. What a run once again for Bradley Hawley and Daniel Knight behind, but it's Acosta who wins as it goes green. 82 laps straight just about to close it. Ted Loman, Dick Denny, Cervantes, the top 5. Jeff Evans, Thomas Sink, Zepke. How about Chris Dean? He's had horrific times so far here this season. He gets the top 10 all of a sudden. Colton Lane, tire warnings, and all makes it to the top 10. 11th spot went to Nick McLaughlin on the second page. Richard Regan Jr. got within 18 seconds. Mark Kalin, he almost lost his tires. He finished 13th. 14th, Dominic Bijen. Then it's Morgan and Scruggs, Evans, Bogue, Gagnon, and Dalton Geyer, your top 20. DNFs, Hassett and Loving, your only 2 DNFs tonight. Vice Motorsport and for RaceSpoke Motorsports 2. That's what top to bottom of your running order tonight here on RaceSpot. Still waiting to see which drivers get the chance to speak with us here. But Derek, your thoughts, as some drivers thought they couldn't make it. In particular, we've seen some of the drivers who pit. Lots did, but barely.
And lots of confusion in post-race when the driver's communicating about how did you do it, how did you make that work, both tires and gas. Lots of saving here. Lots of impressive work by Acosta, Knight, Hawley, and others.
We do have Abner Acosta now standing on by here. Abner, first things first, how does it feel to be the winner tonight in the Monster Mile?
It feels good. I feel like I haven't won in a while for some reason, so definitely feels good.
Talk to us about the strategy race, essentially, to close it out. Not only was it a fuel mileage race, but a tire race. What was that balancing act like for you?
Yeah, I've been struggling with tires lately, but for some reason tonight, I was good. Like I saw even Richard was struggling in the exits at some point. I wish I could tell you what I was doing different, but I don't know. I can't even tell you that I practiced a lot. I don't know. I guess it just worked, and I wasn't burning my tires that much.
How close was the right front to popping? Just out of curiosity.
I did get 2 warnings.
2 warnings.
Yeah, I got 2 warnings from my pit crew. I don't know how close that is, but I did get 2 warnings about my tires.
I'm pretty sure if you get the second warning, you're under about 15 or 20%.
Oh, is that? Well, I guess it was close then.
Yep, indeed. Well, Abner, congratulations on the victory. It's your first dub of the year.
Thank you, guys. I want to thank Precision Racing League, you guys at RaceSpot, and Jeff Evans for doing this paint scheme. I'm glad I got a win on it. Thank you.
That's Abner Acosta. The league is called Precision Racing League, and he just so happens to be a part of the team, but I think he forgot the spelling of it. But Daniel Knight, he came so close to a dub tonight. Daniel is with Derek.
Daniel, really a pretty consistent P2 all night long. What do you think led to your success out here?
Patience, not tearing up the tires, which is something that I tend to do. But yeah, just practice hitting a line and trying to keep with that no matter what was going on around me, and not get caught up trying to chase down Richard and Abner, which is usually an exercise in futility. So I was happy to run where I was, and I'm glad we made it.
So we were having a talk up here in a booth during the race about, sometimes you're good at saving tires, you're not good at saving tires. It's just sort of an inherent nature. What do you have to do different in your mind to get you to save tires? What skills do you have to unlearn pretty quickly?
A lot of it's just telling yourself to slow down. Especially here at Dover, I'm sure y'all saw we love to diamond those corners, enter low, kind of wash up and then go down, and just delaying that turn down in the center of the corner by a split second can be huge for saving that tire. And just, that's the biggest thing. It's the old racing adage of go slow to go fast. And it's hard to do when you're trying to chase down people.
Yeah, it definitely can be. Well, next week we go to a much bigger track in Kansas, a wider track. What's your expectations?
Honestly, it's been a while since I've run Kansas, so I'm not even sure. I don't even know can we run the top there? Because I like running the top. So if that line's there, I'm going to practice that. And, I like to be close to the wall so that when I hit it, the impact's not too bad. But
there you go. Sort of a safety net, if you will.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, listen, great job in P2 tonight, and we'll see you next week.
All right. Thanks, Eric.
Once again, that's Daniel Knight coming away in second spot here tonight here on RaceSpot. Third spot tonight went the way of Bradley Hawley. And Bradley, first of all, the camera's still in your head. I think you forgot about it at one point. Second, how do you feel about the top 3?
Pretty good, considering that I started way in the back and had to deal with some shenanigans. So, I'll take a P3 tonight.
So you mentioned the difficulties there. What was that like? Of course, you couldn't cut the qualifying, but how tricky was it to get through all the cars with the different speeds and the different straps tonight?
I felt like a lot of the guys were pushing a little harder than I was the first 5 to 10 laps maybe, and then once basically the tire difference kicked in, I felt like it was pretty easy for me to get through the field. I just had to navigate when, if someone got loose or hitting a wall or doing something. So other than that, it wasn't too bad. I trust these guys.
Kansas up next. Your thoughts on going to Kansas and why?
I haven't been in Kansas in a while. We'll see if my computer's working. If I'm going to be racing next week or not. So we'll see.
Just curious on the context. What do you mean in terms of if your computer's working?
For whatever reason, my displays do not work half the time. I have to unplug my computer and try to get it to reset itself. So I got to take it in at some point to try to diagnose what's going on with this computer after the rebuild I did before this season.
Well, that's going to be interesting if it comes down to it. Well, we hope to see you then. We'll see what happens. Congratulations on the podium, Brad.
Thank you very much.
Bradley, Holly. Rounding out your top 3 tonight, I'd like to thank the entire top 3 for taking the time to speak with us during post-race coverage here on Race Spot. Kansas is up next, up the Golden Brick Road. Your thoughts, Derek, as we get ready for Kansas?
I think it'll be a much faster, much bigger race. Probably a little bit more drafting is relevant, and we'll see who can hold on here. The 1st of May, already into the month of May. We almost are here, JP. Coverage begins right after the truck race here, live on Race Spot. I'm excited to see who can follow the Yellow Brick Road.
Gold and yellow are the same color. It's just gold is much more valuable. But in the end, it's Abner Acosta who strikes gold here in the Grand National Series at Dover. It's time to say goodbye, though, for tonight's coverage. For my co-announcer and Derek Watson, for our producer once again tonight, Joshua Lee, and for our spotter for the Grand National Series, Nick Hunter, I'm Justin Prince saying so long. Enjoy the rest of your day or evening. You've been watching the Precision Racing League and its Truck and Grand National Series races from the Miles to Monster. We'll see you next time from Kansas.